Hi everyone. So welcome to the live stream today. Really excited for having you on the stream today as we discuss some few things that we need to take into consideration and most importantly how we have to revise to position ourselves to pass the November 2023 examination. And I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome. Really excited for having you on the stream today as we try to look at the various things that we need to look out for. My goal on the stream today is to provide you with some strategies and some techniques on what it is that you have to do in order for you to really pass the examination. But most importantly, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the various things that you need to look out for so that you will really pass the exam. So, welcome. See some of you guys joining. Let me hear from you. What subjects are you writing? What are the areas of challenges that you have in the subjects that you are writing? And let me provide you with some strategies on how you can revise because technically we have about 5 more weeks to go for the November 2023 examination, with the examination registration ending in about 2 weeks. That is on the 20th of October 2023, and that is technically about 2 weeks from today. So, definitely, we still have some time for the completion or the ending of the registration. But the key thing is, are you in the position, in the framework? Are you well prepared to be able to really go into the exam hall and most importantly, pass the examination? That is a question left for you to really answer so that you can really be in the position to pass the examination. So let me hear from you in this case. What questions do you have for me? What subjects are you writing? What areas do you have challenges with that you would want me to quickly share my thought on? Whatever subject you are writing, just hit me with it. Whatever areas it is, just hit me with it. I'm going to be reading all your comments and also providing you with some understanding on how you can revise to pass the examination. Now, so we've come a long way. We are in the ninth week for our preparation towards the November 2023 examination. 9 weeks, the ninth week. And so we have about 5 more to go for the examination. But it's important that we put everything in perspective and find out whether really we are in the position to be able to pass the examination. So what I want to do in the next few minutes is to sort of walk you through a couple of realities about the examination and share with you a couple of truths that you need to understand when it comes to the examination as a whole. Now let me issue a disclaimer of the records that I'm going to be in your face this afternoon, and so if you don't like to be spoken to in a manner that will be in your face, then maybe you leave the stream and go watch some cat and dog videos on TikTok. But if you really want to here's the truth about the examination and what you need to do to be able to pass the exam, then you can continue to watch and then stay connected as we get into this discussion this afternoon. So, a few things that you need to really understand. Number one is what you know already, that the exam is going to be starting on the 6th and end on the 10th of November 2023. So, that is the period from the 6th to the 10th. So, we have about 5 more weeks to go to be able to be ready for the exams in that particular case. But there are a couple of truths that you need to understand when it comes to the examination as a whole. Number one is this, that on the average, about 70% of students are going to be failing the examination. Listen to me carefully. Listen carefully. Because I want you to understand the reality on the ground so that you do what you have to do in order to avoid failing the examination. The first thing you must understand is that on the average, about 70% of students are going to fail the exam. This is not my words. This has been the track record. This has been the statistics over the years. 70% of students sitting for the ICA examination in November 2023 will fail the exam. Will fail the exam. What does that mean? It means that it puts 10 people in a room to write the ICA exam. Only 3 out of the 10 people will be passing the examination. 7 will fail. You put 1,000 people writing and the exam, 700 of them are going to fail the exam, and only 300 of them will pass the exam. So the question then is, why is it that about 70% of people will fail the exam? Why is that? It's because of a couple of reasons. Number one, students are always ill prepared for the examination. Students are always ill prepared for the exam. So in the November 2023 examination, 70% will fail the exam. If you want to be among the 30% of the people who will pass the exam, then you have to be adequately prepared for the exam. Because many of the students are ill prepared. Some of you, we are in the 9th week, but you have never been serious in anything over the last 9 weeks. And you are waiting 2 weeks to the exam. You're going to take one miserable leave like that from your company, one miserable leave like that from the government, causing financial loss to the state, causing financial loss to your company, and try to attend all manner of intervention classes and go to the exam hall and go and fail the exam and buy yourself an emotional trauma at the end of the day. Why do you do that? Intervention and revision classes are to provide blueprint, are to help the people who have been working all this while. Intervention classes are not a magic wand, a magic box where something is woven to you or something is casted on you or cast on you, and then all of a sudden everything is going to be clear. No. Because most of these classes are going to be 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. How the hell do you think you can learn the whole syllabus in 5 hours and go to the exam and go and pass the exam? It's not going to happen. So if you want to pass the exam, then you have to be prepared. Because one of the key reasons, as per the chief examiner's report, is why students fail the exam, why 70% of students are going to even fail the exam in November 2023 is because of ill preparedness for the examination. So I don't know what you're doing now, but you have 6 more weeks to go. If you have not been serious over the last 9 weeks, may I suggest to you that at least in the next 6 weeks, be serious. Don't wait 2 weeks to the exam, a week to the exam. Like I said, take one miserable leave, cause financial loss to your company, cause financial loss to the state, and we are already in a mess. Then you're causing more financial loss to the state. You go to the exam hall, buy yourself emotional pressure, fail the exam on top of it, and become emotionally traumatized. And that is where you hear people sheepishly spewing out nonsense that the ICA examination is difficult. No matter what you do, you're going to fail the exam. You are sick to say that. You think somebody is sitting at the ICA and their goal is to fail you? That's what you are thinking? That somebody is sitting as part of the examination committee of the ICAG and they are sitting there and they are like, oh, we will fail you? No. If you are not prepared for the exam, you will go and fail the exam. So, 70% will fail November 2023 examination. 70% will fail. If you want to be part of those 30%, you have to work hard. I've seen this. I've been in the game for over a decade. I've been doing this over a decade. And it's not part-time. I don't sell condom in the evening. I come and study. I come and teach. I don't sell sanitary pads in the evening. I come and study. This is my job full-time over a decade. And I've seen it all. And sometimes it hurts me when results are released and I see students. Even as of now, currently, you have a class and then assignment is given, people will not do assignment. Performance evaluation test, they won't do performance evaluation test. So you ask yourself, what the heck is wrong with you? Are you going to write the exam? You did the same thing last semester, you failed. You did the same thing last 2 semesters, you failed. You have been doing that and your life is not moving forward, but you are still doing it. And like it is said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. Listen to me. If you want to pass this exam, the pass category is just 30%. On the average, across all the ICAG subjects, on the average, 70% will fail the exam. November 2023. Don't be delusional. It's not a prophecy. It's the reality. That's the data. That is the statistics. So you want to pass the exam, you got to be prepared. Number two, students are waiting to attend all manner of revision classes, thinking that there is a magic trick or formula that will be given. I've already referred to that. The reason why a lot of people fail the exam is because they are waiting. Attend all manner of intervention class. Kofi is doing intervention class. Amma is doing intervention class. Akosia is doing intervention class. Yaya is doing intervention class. Oh, Yvonne is doing intervention class. Abigail is doing intervention class. Don't wait. Do not wait. 3, students are unable to allocate time to appropriate questions in the exam hall. Time is going to be your enemy in the exam hall. Listen. This is not your first degree. This is not your MBA. This is not your MSc. Heck, this is not your PhD. We don't care about that. In your degree, MBA, MSc, HND, and whatever the heck you learned, you were graded over a period of 4 years or 3 years or 7 years or whatever the heck it is you studied. Here, you are graded in 3 hours. 3 hours. So the attitude, the approach that you adopted whilst doing your HND, your first degree, your master's, or whatever the heck, cannot be used here. Because the grading system in the tertiary, in the universities, in the technical universities and all that, is over a period of 4 years. But here, in 3 hours, you are done. You need to be able to work on your time. You need to be able to sit down, pick a question and say that, okay, this is a 10-mark question. It means I need 18 minutes for this. This is a 5-mark question. It means I need 9 minutes for this. This is a 2-mark question. That means I need how much time for this? Then you sit down and answer the question and then challenge yourself to work within time. Because a couple of you are going to fail the exam. Not because you didn't study, not because you don't know, but because you did not allocate time appropriately. And like I said, nobody cares. That is why sometimes I have students who are like, oh, I'm a slow writer. Oh, I'm a slow this. We don't care. You see, life doesn't care about your weakness until you rise up and find ways and means to work on that weakness so that it becomes your strength, so you achieve your goal. Nobody cares. So time is going to be key. This is why in the next 6 weeks, you have to make time to study. And when you are solving questions, solve the questions under time. Have your stop clock on your phone. Have your time available. Set a countdown on your phone. Bam, click on it. Then you are working. If the time is up and you are not done, find out. Why did I take a longer period of time? Because time will be your enemy. You cannot bring the HND, the first degree, the MBA, or whatever the heck you have studied to the professional examination. You will fail. It's a different field. It requires different mindsets. It requires different attitude. So 70% of people will fail the exam because 1, they are ill prepared. Because 2, they are waiting to attend all manner of intervention classes thinking that there will be a magic one. 3, because they are going to misappropriate time. 4, students lack understanding of key basic concepts and principles. It amazes me that this is one of the concerns that the chief examiner has raised across the respective subjects. Students lack understanding. Take financial reporting. Accounting standards is the bedrock of the financial reporting examination. But many students lack understanding of the accounting standards. It's the basic thing, but you lack understanding of it. Take public sector accounting and finance. People lack the basic concept. Take management accounting, absorption costing, marginal costing, activity-based costing. You have to understand the basic concepts. So if you are sitting down to attend all manner of intervention classes, may I suggest to you, you're going to fail the exam. You are going to fail the exam. Now, let me show you what I'm actually talking about. Just let me pull up my slide quickly and show you what exactly I'm talking about here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is what public sector accounting and finance, July 2023. It's on the ICAG website. You can download it and read it yourself. This is the chief examiner's report, not my report. Okay, what do we have here? The performance of candidates has also improved significantly from 24% in March, 24%, to 31.9%. So March was 24%, now 31.9%. Go back to the other examination date, 28%, 20%. So the average is 30. Now, look at the issues that the chief examiner spoke about. Number one, inability of candidate to provide responses that are consistent with the requirements of the questions. That's a problem. Number two, limited coverage of the syllabus. You know why? Because you are waiting 2 weeks to the exam. So you don't really cover all the aspects of the syllabus. Number three, poor time management. I've told you about that. Number four, poor organization of responses. Some people, the way you even write, the way you even present is a challenge, it's a problem. Number five, complete lack of knowledge. Complete lack of knowledge. Some people, nothing in their head. This is not my statement. You will say, oh, Nhyira is saying some things. I'm not the chief examiner. I didn't write that. This is the chief examiner for public sector accounting and finance. Go to other papers, whatever the heck. Go to other papers like management accounting or something like that. You're going to have the same issues coming up. Give me a sec. Just pulling this up for you. Coming up in a moment. Let's go to something like management accounting. This is management accounting. Issues are there. Same thing coming up. Go to whatever, financial reporting. This is financial reporting. A greater number of candidates demonstrate lack of understanding on how to present consolidated financial statement. Many could hardly understand that and apply content of the relevant IFRSs. I'm not the one who wrote it. I'm not the one who wrote it. So if you want to sit for the November 2023 examination, number one, 70% of people are going to fail the exam. So the 30% of the people who will pass the exam, the question is, will you be part of that 30%? Will you be part of that group? And how do you become part of that group? You have to be studying. You have to really work hard. You have to really put in the effort. And stop the excuses. Stop the various excuses you are giving yourself. Because sometimes it breaks my heart always. You are in a class, maybe a class of 40, a class of 45, or whatever the heck. You give an assignment, then you have 5 people, 7 people doing the assignment. So you ask yourself, what the heck is going on? Then the few people who did the assignment, you find out what they wrote, the English they are writing, then you are like, so the people who didn't know, does it mean they don't have problems? Like just this Monday, the public sector accounting students, we were discussing ratios and the kind of things people wrote. It was really something that was worrying. Because you see, there is a way you have to answer the question. So if an assignment is given, you don't do. Performance evaluation test, you don't do. And sometimes some people sheepishly join the class, and once they realize that it's a performance evaluation test, fine, they are gone. And then they will give themselves excuses and say, oh, Nhyira, oh, my this, oh, Nhyira, my that, oh, Nhyira, my this. You've been doing all that. How long will you take to become a chartered accountant? How long will you take? Some of you have been here when the new syllabus was introduced in 2019. You are still here after 5 years, and another new syllabus is about to be introduced in July 2024. You are still here, giving yourself dumb excuses for not being able to go in there, work hard the way you're supposed to work hard, and pass the examination. What are you waiting for? So that is what I want to tell you. 30% of people on the average are going to pass the examination across all the subjects. There are some subjects, even the pass mark is worse. Something like strategic case study. People get like 5%. And other subjects, people get like 20%, 15%, 10%. What the heck? It breaks my heart. Because sometimes I read the examiner's report, and I've been reading it every examination night over a decade. And it's the same thing. So the question I ask myself is, okay, is it wrong for people to organize intervention classes? No. It's the products that we are getting. Because some of you think the intervention class is a magic one, a magic formula. No. The intervention class works for the people who have been studying, and they just need a little backup. They just need a little assistance. They just need a little door to be open for them so that they can enter. That is the purpose. That is why the intervention class will work for those people, but not for lazy, delusional people who sit throughout the 12, 13 weeks and use 1 week, 3 days to want to pass the examination. And sometimes you hear some dumb excuses people give. I have a friend, he sat, he was like, oh, let me register for the exam. Then he was in 24 hours. And then he read a book, or he attended intervention somewhere, and he passed the examination. You are really delusional. There is something actually wrong with you. You are using a one-time serendipitous moment to describe how things are supposed to work in life. So that's the first thing. 70% of people are going to fail the exam. The 30% that are going to pass the exam are the people who have been studying, are the people who know how to work on their time, are the people who understand the basic concept of all of the subjects, and are the people who are ready to go the extra mile. Number 2, be realistic. Listen to me. Be realistic. Listen. Right now, as you sit, as you are watching this, as you are listening to this, if you are to write the ICA exam today, do you think you're going to pass the exam? For most of you, you get close to 10%. So I want you to be realistic. The examination registration is going to end in 2 weeks, 20th of October. Be realistic. If you think you are not prepared for the exam, don't register for the exam. You have to be realistic, and don't convince yourself thinking that, oh, by the grace of God. Stop sabotaging the grace of God. Stop being stupid about the grace of God. The grace of God is there, but you got to work hard. So you have to be realistic. Are you going to study? Will you be well prepared to go into the exam hall and pass the exam? Not try, because some of you, you've taken the ICA as a lottery, as gambling. Oh, let me register. I'll go and see. By the grace of God, I will pass. The ICA exam there is like that. You have to register. By the grace of God, you will pass. You think this is lottery? You think this is 419? You think this is what? A game we are playing here? What's wrong with you anyways? You have to be realistic. It's not a game. It's not a lottery. Be realistic. And for those of you who are doing a lot of subjects, use your brain and be realistic. Don't say, oh, because I'm going to pay for all the exam, I'm going to write all of them. No, especially for those of you in level 3, per the current system, you're going to register for all the 4 papers. But be careful and be realistic that you are preparing adequately for all of the 4. If not, maybe just focus on 2 and write those 2. Don't say, oh, I'm paying the money anyways, I won't let the money go away. Then you are spreading your wings. You don't have time. So just spend some of the time and be realistic with yourself. Okay, 4 papers in level 3. Maybe I can do 2. Advanced taxation and advanced audit. Okay, corporate reporting and advanced audit. Maybe advanced taxation and strategic case study. Be realistic and spend your time on those 2. Oh, I have a friend, he sat for all the 4 papers and he passed all of them. Are you your friend? Are you your friend? Because you have to look at your time. I'm different from you. Because if you are writing an exam, I'm different from you. Maybe you married. You have responsibilities to undertake. You have children to undertake. You have a spouse to take care of. You have to take care of your girlfriend, your boyfriend, and all of those things. There are some people, they don't have any of those responsibilities. So when they get up, they go to work, they come back home, they bath, they are behind the book, studying. Such people, they sit for the exam, bam, they pass. So if you compare yourself to such people, oh, by the grace of God, I'm gonna don't misbehave. So be realistic. Be realistic. Be realistic. So number 1, 70% of people will fail the exam. Number 2, be realistic and only register for the papers that you think you can prepare for and pass. It's not a lottery. It's not gamble. It's not a bet. You have to be realistic. Number 3, this all means that we need a dramatical change. So dramatical change is required if you want to pass this examination. I don't care whatever the heck you've been doing for the last 9 weeks. If you want to pass the November 2023 examination, you need a dramatical change. Change in your attitudes, change in your lifestyle, change in the way you approach the examination, change in your mindset, change in the way you see things. Some people will say, oh, Nhyira, when I study, it doesn't stick. Ask yourself, how the heck are you studying? What's the environment you are studying in? What are you studying? What environment are you studying in? You need to change things. Maybe you don't have a personal timetable. You don't have, prepare one and be conscious about it. I'm not the one to advise you how to live your life. Neither am I here to motivate you. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here to give you a dose of reality. And the dose of reality is this. If you work hard, doors will be open. If you work hard, you will see the grace of God manifested in your life. If you work hard, you will see that everything will begin to go well for you. But if you're a lazy person, you're just sitting down there and wishfully thinking that something dramatic is going to happen in your life, then you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. So you have to discipline yourself, be ruthless about your time, and change your attitude, change your mindset, change your way of life. There are a lot of you here watching this video, either the playback or the live. You've never done any performance evaluation test. You've never done any assignment. You are in my class. And you know, sometimes, and this is part of our terms and condition, because I don't like foolishness. So it's part of our terms and condition. So people don't do assignment. People don't do performance evaluation test. But they feel that when you're discussing the question, they should be part of the class. And their excuse is that, oh, our pay fees. Oh, Nhyira, don't you want all of us to pass? You think this is your first degree you're doing? You think this is your MBA you're doing here? No, this is a professional examination. And if you want to pass it, you are better off to be in a position that you have to work hard. And like I said, it hurts me a lot when I see the chief examiner's report. It hurts me a lot when the results are released and then, you know, we have to deal with some of these things. Because on one side, some people are excited. On another side, some people are not excited. And I'm not surprised. Most of the time, I'm not surprised because I have seen it already that diawuye, that is the end. What you are doing, I'm not surprised you passed the exam. What you are doing, I'm not surprised you failed the exam because success leave clues. So my take to you is this. 70% of people are going to fail the exam. November 2023. I'm not a prophet of doom. That is the reality. Come back to this video in December, first week in December, when the chief examiner's report has been released for the November 2023 examination. And you will understand what I'm trying to tell you. If you want to avoid this mess, if you don't want to be part of the 70% of the people who fail the exam, then please work hard on yourself. Dedicate time. Work on yourself very well. And that is how you can pass the examination. So in bringing home the question, how do you revise for the November 2023 examination? The answer is very simple. Prepare well for the exam. Make time for the exam. Stop being delusional about the exam and be realistic. And remove the mindset that you're going to take a leave 2 weeks to the exam, a week to the exam, and you're going to write the exam and pass. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. So sit down, analyze the things that are available, be realistic, and create some time for yourself. And involve yourself in a lot of work. If you happen to be attending lectures somewhere where assignments are given, you're able to do class exercises, mock examination, participate in all those things. Don't feel big. You've never done this before. Because some of you are too full of yourself. You are too egotistic. We don't care about the car you drive. Nobody cares about the house you live in. Nobody cares the food you eat. Nobody cares how much your suit cost or your watch cost or your bike cost. Nobody cares. There's only one thing that will judge you in the 3 hours. Your understanding of the subject. Your ability to be able to manage time. So put aside your ego. Be a student. Go through the process. Make time to study. That is how you pass the examination. If you can drop your ego, if you can drop the foolishness in the misbehavior and see yourself that I have not done this before. What do I have to do to make it as fast as possible? Because time is the most precious currency on the planet. And some of you have been on this journey for a long time. You don't have time for that. You can do this in the next few months before the examination, before the syllabus is revised. But some of you are still waiting. You have been misbehaving all this while, and you will continue to misbehave. Then the new syllabus will come, then you will still be here. When do you want to become a chartered accountant? So drop the ego. Drop whatever you think you know. This is a professional examination. You're going to be judged in 3 hours. Not like the 4 years or the 2 years in your MBA program or your first degree. It's only boiled down in 3 hours. And you have to train yourself to be able to go through the exam in 3 hours and write as much as possible to be able to help you to cross that pass mark of 50%. That's what you must understand. All right. Any questions for me? Let me know the subject that you are writing, and let me provide you with some specific strategies to be able to position you to pass the examination. So, any questions for me, real quick? Let's see if I have some chats coming up here, real quick. So we have Elegance Etiquette said, "Hello, hi, Elegance Etiquette. Thanks for joining us on the stream." Then we have, "Hi, good evening. I'm Blameless." Okay, oh, Blameless, you are welcome to the stream today. And then Nudge Clinton is asking, "How much does I think it costs to open an audit firm?" Really? I don't have a clue on that. First things first, you must make sure you have your certification from the institution, from the professional body that you belong to, or in the country that you are in. Definitely, you have to register the business, get an office space, or if it is an online business in that particular case, or whatever it is. So it's something that I cannot just give a specific amount to it at the end of the day. So that is the deal there. But you need to get certification and clearance. There are fees you have to pay to the regulatory body in whatever country you are in. You have to register the business with the registrar general again in whatever country you are in. Then you need to get an office space. If you're not going to have an office and you're going to be running an online or a virtual business also, then that is going to be different in that particular case. So I cannot give a specific figure, but I think that you can do a bit work on that in the specific areas. What do I have? Mame Boatima said, "Please, the papers I will be writing are FMCR audit case study." Oh, Mame, why? Hmm? Mame, why? Why are you writing a lot of papers like that? Yeah? Why? Do you have the time to study well to be able to pass all of these papers, Mame? That's my take. Okay, we have to be realistic. Do you have all it takes? Are you a full-time student? Do you have time to really study all of these papers and pass them? Because really, each of these papers require a lot of work. Okay, FM, AA, corporate reporting, case study, and advanced taxation. All of this require a lot of work. So I don't know though, but Mame, let me know. Give me some information. Are you a full-time student? Then I can give you some recommendation in that particular case. Let me know quickly, Mame, if you're still on the stream. Are you a full-time student or you have some other things going on? Then we would have to look at the whole discussion very well before I talk to you about it. So give me some follow up on this. Felix Nyaku said, "Please, I intend to write PSA and FR for this November. I am now starting my preparation. Is it too late?" Now starting your preparation, I wouldn't say it's too late because we have about 6 more weeks to go. And sorry, 5 more weeks to go, and a lot can be done in 5 weeks, Felix. Again, I don't know where you are attending lectures, because if you're able to have access to, how do we call it, the previous lectures that they have done over the last 9 weeks, and you will need time to go through 9 lectures. So let's say, for instance, you enroll on our platform, for instance. Yes, you have access to the videos, but each of the videos on the average is 3 hours. 3 hours. And you will need like 5 or 6 hours to watch the lectures. So I don't know though. If you have a lot of time at your disposal, then fine. But if you don't have a lot of time at your disposal, we gotta be realistic. Maybe start studying, but write it in March 2024, Felix. Maybe start studying, write it in March 2024. If you had written them previously and you had failed, and you are now resitting, then it's okay because you have some knowledge and you could easily go through. But since it is the first time you are going in, I wouldn't advise you to sit for it. But like I said, sit down, do your analysis, and find out if realistically you have a lot of time. If you have a lot of time at your disposal, and like I said, you will need a lot of time, a lot. So realistically, I don't think I will advise you to do that, Felix. That's my opinion. I don't think I will advise you to do that. But it all depends on your time. Our brains are different. Um, it depends. I as a like as an individual, I could do that. Okay, if I'm supposed to write a paper or write any subject in, and I have just 5 weeks to prepare for that paper, I could do it because I know how to play around with my time and dedicate a lot of time for it and do the sacrifice necessary for it. So we are different. So be realistic, do your own analysis of it, and find out if truly you can do it. Okay, if truly you can do it. But 90% of the time, I will recommend that it's too late. Put it in next examination date. So maybe you can start studying now, anyways, it's still okay. Then in the next examination date, you can sit for it. Okay, Felix, that's my opinion. But I don't know. Maybe give me some information, what your schedules are like, then I could see. Mami said, I need tips on how to pass them. Okay. Then I think Mami gave us a follow up that she's an audit associate. Okay. So again, Mami, like I mentioned earlier in my when I when I brought your first script up, number one, when you take something like corporate reporting, you're an audit associate. Okay. Again, that doesn't really tell me a lot about how your day or your schedules are like. So I want you to be realistic if truly you are prepared for all of these papers. But a couple of things that you have to understand generally, something like corporate reporting, for instance, corporate reporting, you must be strong in the accounting standards. Very, very important. That's the backdrop. If you're strong in the accounting standards, well, that is very strong. It means that because you're going to have a dedicated 25-mark question on the accounting standards. 25. Sorry, that could be 30 because you have a 5-mark theory question as well. So you have 30-mark question on the accounting standards. Then, when it comes to corporate restructuring, financial reorganization, or business valuation, you will still need the knowledge of the accounting standards. Then, ratio analysis, that is evaluation of financial statement, you will still need some knowledge on the accounting standards. So, really, when it comes to corporate reporting, accounting standards will be the anchor because you're going to have questions on the standards, you're going to have questions on the evaluation of financial statements, you're going to have questions on the consolidated financial statement, then you're going to have a question either on business valuation or corporate restructuring, financial reorganization. One of them will be there for 15 marks. So that is the flow for corporate reporting. You have to be strong in the accounting standards. Once you are strong in the accounting standards, all other things being equal, you can thrive in the other areas generally at the end of the day. Advanced audit and assurance, it's a very interesting area. Again, it's a written paper, and you have to be careful because the fact that you're an audit associate doesn't mean that you will find advanced audit and assurance very easy. Because what you are supposed to write to pass the exam is different from what you might be doing in practice. Got to be careful here. So it's important that you learn the underlying principle on the advanced audit and assurance as a subject so that you don't just say, yeah, because I'm an audit associate, yeah, this is how we do it. No, you can't do that in the exam hall. Because in the advanced audit and assurance, you have a question on ethics. That's a 10-mark question on ethics in the exam hall, either from the perspective of the audit firm or the perspective of somebody on the team for the engagement. So we have 10 marks on ethics. Then we're going to have a 20-mark question on audit procedures and audit evidence. It's waiting for you. It's a done deal area. So it is important you understand how to write audit procedures for all of the various assertions that can be tested for by an entity in that particular case. So that is going to be there. Audit reporting, there is a 50-mark question for you waiting on audit reporting. And this is where going concern, subsequent events, and then the audit report itself. Now, you may not be required to write an audit report, but you may be required to give an analysis or assessment of the validity of a certain audit report. So it is important you understand audit reporting. Then public sector auditing. It's a 20-mark area if the examiner is excited to bring that to you in the exam hall. So you really have to spend time to read that very well. So my take for you when it comes to the advanced audit and assurance is that you got to be strong about ethics. And in ethics, there is a way we write the answers out when it comes to ethics in advanced audit and assurance, because you need to identify the threat, and look at the significance of the threat, and then state whether the threat is at the firm level or at the individual level, and then connect that to the fundamental code of ethics being breached. Then definitely you have to find out about the mitigating factors of the threat. So it's important you understand how to write out your answers when it comes to ethical issues in advanced audit and assurance. It is different from the way you write the answers for ethical issues in corporate reporting. And it's different from the way you write it out in strategic case study. So you have to be careful to identify those thin lines generally in that particular case. For strategic case study, it's an interesting area. You need to really have an understanding of the key models and frameworks generally in that particular case and how they apply. So, number one, in the strategic case study exam, you are not regurgitating what you have studied. You are going to be applying it to a case, and that is very important to the examiner. So, what you want to do is to understand the models, but most importantly, you have to go the extra mile to read how the models apply in specific scenarios, how the models apply in specific circumstances. So, for instance, you read about the pistol framework. You read about the Potter's five forces. Okay, how does the Potter's five forces apply for a retail firm? How does the Potter's five forces apply for a mining company? How does the Potter's five forces apply for a hotel company or a real estate company? And all of these information available online. But it's going to require you a lot of time to do some of this digging on your own, because it's not just about, I can regurgitate and I can recite all of the things under a model. It's about how you apply it and extract it from a given case study. Advanced taxation is an easy peasy, in my opinion, an easy peasy, because you're gonna make sure you understand the fundamental rules about the tax laws. You're going to be getting a question in relation to tax implication of various items. So there are a lot of rules here that you must understand about advanced taxation. My recommendation about advanced taxation or tips is definitely to understand the fundamental principles. You must understand how we do various treatments, thin capitalization, the concept of residency. You must understand various issues when it comes to repairs and improvement, financial cost and financial gain, dealing with capital allowance, like those fundamental principles. I don't know the book that you are using for these courses or for advanced taxation, for instance, but it should be able to give you the breakdown of all of these principles generally. And we have a couple of videos on some of these things available on the YouTube channel, as well as in our mobile application as well in that particular case. So with advanced taxation, because it is law related, you have to know the law. So you are like a medical doctor. If you are supposed to give somebody amoxicillin and you give the person chloroquine, then you're going to kill the person. The same thing happens in advanced taxation. So if you are not able to talk about what the law says, what the tax provision says about the treatment of something, then au revoir, messieurs. You are going to be getting it wrong in that particular case. So you have to spend time to understand the principles that underline each of the items when it comes to dealing with advanced taxation generally. Then financial management, also a very broad area, but you're going to be seeing questions on working capital management. You're going to be seeing. So, this is what I want you to know. I'm just giving you a general overview of each of these subjects. But you will realize that each of them actually requires significant amount of work to be done. And there is no shortcut, mommy. There's no shortcut. The shortcut is sit down and study. Sit down and understand the principles. So because in FM, you have a question on working capital management. So you have to sit down and learn everything about working capital management. You see a question on acquisition, mergers, and financing acquisitions. It's going to be in the exam hall. So you have to sit down, learn, and understand the principles in relation to all of those things. You have to. You're going to see a question on risk management. It's going to be there. Learn it well, understand the principles. So my general tip for you will be to make time, have a steady plan, discipline yourself, and study. Your studying should be broken into a couple of stages. Study the principles. Number 2, solve questions. Number 3, practice questions under time. Understand the principles, solve questions in connection to the principles, then sit down on your own to practice a lot of questions under time. Because one of the things that will be crucial in the exam hall is going to be time. And if you don't make time your friend during your studying phase, then it's going to become your enemy in the exam hall. So generally, mommy, that is what I would say. Like I said, audit associate, I don't know how busy your life is, but it will require a lot of work. I'm not saying it's not possible, it is, but it will require a lot of work to pull it off. So make sure you make enough time available for yourself to be able to study for the exam. Prince Edu said, strategies on how to pass FM will help. Okay, I just spoke about that. There is no shortcut, so you have to understand the basic principles in financial management. And I just explained that in a moment. So they're the same thing. Understand the basic principles. There is no shortcut. There will be a question on business valuation. There will be a question on investment appraisal. When you take each topic, diagnose the topic in detail and understand all the principles under that topic and expose yourself to a lot of questions, Prince. A lot of questions. Solve a lot of questions. That's the only way you can make this easier on yourself. And then after you expose yourself to questions, now begin to solve those questions under time so that you can work on your time. The reason why this is important is that so that you can challenge your brain to think faster. Because sometimes you are in the exam or you've read a question, but the idea is not coming faster. Or you've seen a question, the idea is not coming faster. Then you realize that after the exam, probably you're on your way to work. You're on your way back home. Or maybe the following day, in the morning, after the exam, maybe you're taking tea or you're just lying on your bed or something like that. Then all of a sudden, the things that you couldn't remember in the exam hall, now they are just coming. They're just coming. They're just coming. Then you're like, what the heck is this, God? No. They have been there all this while. But the problem is that your brain at the time in the exam hall was dysfunctional. So the only way that you can put some order in your brain is when you're able to understand the fundamental principles very well, the terminologies very well under each of the topics, expose yourself to questions, then you solve the questions under time. That way you are challenging your brain to call the information as and when you need it and not when you are just lying down and thinking about yourself. I hope you are getting the idea, and this applies to all other subjects. So strategies to pass: sit down, take topics after topics, write down the principles, the basic concepts under each of the topics. Boom. and practice a lot of questions under time. That is the only way you'll be able to pass the examination. Prince? Elizabeth Dogwe said, I'm preparing for AA. Please assist with tips. Okay, I think I've just spoken about that in answering Mame's question. And let me know if that makes sense for you, because corporate reporting, you need to understand the accounting standards very well, generally. And once you understand the accounting standards, for the most part, the other ones are going to be pretty easier for you in that particular case. And then I've spoken about the audit and assurance as well, what you need to do. One thing that I just want to add, again, Mami, I think if she's still on the call, is or is still on the stream, is auditing is an English paper. You know that already. And you see, it's difficult for the English papers because sometimes people think they are writing English, but at the end of the day, they are not writing English. They are writing something that looks like English, but it's technically not English. Okay? Because I've had this with my students in their subjects, and we are going through their scripts, and sometimes some of them, upon second reflection, they wondered whether they were the ones writing what they wrote. So because the audit and assurance is going to be a written paper, you're going to be writing a lot of English. This is my take for you. When you take each topic and you are studying and you expose yourself to questions, please don't read the solution and think you understand. It's a trap, because the marking scheme is not your English. The marking scheme is not your words. The marking scheme is not what you will write. So, what is the best approach then? I believe that you're attending lectures or whatever the heck, and if you are, then you are definitely going to be guided in a way that you're supposed to write the answers and what you're supposed to say and what you're not supposed to say. But in addition to that, whatever question you pick, maybe you finish learning ethics, then you grab a question on ethics, write your answers down. Write your answers down. Then when you finish, compare the answers you have written to the solution script provided by the examiner or by the book, and find out if there is some level of similarities. Because if you just read questions and solution, you will go to the exam hall and fail the audit paper. Because it has to be your words, it has to be your understanding, it has to be in relation to how you express yourself. So that would be an additional thing that I will add for the audit and assurance paper. That be mindful of how you solve questions. Don't read questions and their solution and think, hooray, I am good. No, you ain't good. You are not good yet. Okay? So that is what I'll add there for you, Elizabeth. Oysters TV said, I'm writing PSA. Right. I always say that public sector is one of the easiest papers to pass, in my opinion, always. The reason is that you know exactly what's going to be there. So, tips to pass public sector is there is no tips. But you just have to understand the structure of the exams when it comes to public sector, right? Question 1 is going to be on conceptual framework for general purpose financial statement. What does that mean? It means that 20-mark area is going to be coming from conceptual qualitative characteristics of financial statement, measurement basis, accounting concept, accounting approaches, and then some IPSAS issues. So the 20-mark question will come from 2 of the 5 things that I've mentioned. In question 1, whether I like it or not, 2 of those things will be there. Either qualitative characteristics of financial statements, measurement basis, accounting concept, accounting approaches, or some IPSAS issues. At least 2 of those things will be there for the 20-mark area. That's question 1. That's question 1. So how do you pass PSA? That is question 1. Learn all of the 5 things that I've said and understand them very well, because in the exam hall, that's going to be there for you. Question 2 is about financial statement preparation. It's either going to be on the consolidated fund, that is on the central government, or for a covered entity. Either a public hospital, a public school, a local assembly, a department, or whatever the heck. One of them will be there. But the underlying principle for you to be able to excel in that question two area is to understand a key topic called revenue management and expenditure control. Because this is an underlying topic that holds the public sector generally, revenue management and expenditure control. So make sure you understand that very well. Number two is the IPSAS, because whether I like it or not, you're going to be preparing the financial statement using the accrual basis IPSAS for that question two area. And so you have to be familiar with IPSAS 17, that is property, plant, and equipment. You have to know about IPSAS 12, that is inventories. You have to know about IPSAS 23, revenue from non-exchange transaction. IPSAS 9, revenue from exchange transaction. Then you have to know about IPSAS 19, provisions, contingent liabilities, contingent assets. You have to know about IPSAS 2, the cash flow statement preparation. So you must have an understanding of the principle of the IPSAS, because whether I like it or not, in the notes to the financial statements, whether you're preparing for the covered entity or for the central government, you're going to be applying that in question two. Question three is about PIFA, that is a public expenditure and financial accountability framework, and then evaluation of financial statements. Now, PIFA is a done deal, 10-mark question waiting for you in the exam hall about PIFA. It could be a calculation question, it could be an analysis question, or it could just be a written question. It depends on how excited the examiner is. 10 marks on PIFA is waiting for you. You got to learn it well. Then there is going to be another 10-mark question on evaluation of financial statements, either common size analysis, ratio analysis, or statement of budget performance. It depends. One of them will be there. For your information, all of these have been asked by the examiner over and over again over the last 7 or 8 examination dates. But one of them will be there for 10 marks. That is question 3. We are done. Question 4 is going to be on public-private partnership arrangement and public procurement. That's what's going to be there. Public-private partnership arrangement and public procurement. 10 marks from public-private partnership arrangement, 10 marks from public procurement. So learn the principles well. When it comes to public-private partnership arrangement, you need to understand the types of public-private partnership arrangement, the principles of public-private partnership arrangement. You need to understand the limitations, the objectives, and all of those things. 10 marks is going to be coming from there. You have to read it. Public procurement is a very voluminous area. There are a lot of things there that you must understand. Then question 5 is a no man's land area. It means that whatever the heck the examiner whatever the heck is remaining in the syllabus from question 1 to question 4, the examiner is going to be dumping it in question 5. So this is where you're going to be seeing something on public sector budgeting. You're going to be seeing something on revenue management and expenditure control, role of key public officers like the Minister of Finance, whatever the heck, budget office of the Ministry of Finance, principal spending officers, principal account holders, auditor general, who else? Controller, accountant general, all of those things. The role of parliament in ensuring value for money. Those kind of things. Question 5. Then revenue management and expenditure control. Question 5. So Oyster TV, public sector, that's how it is. So that is why I said it's one of the easiest papers to pass, because you know exactly what is going to be there. And it's no libi, no laba laba. All you just have to do is take the questions one after the other, and when you are studying, you approach them like that. So categorize your studies into these 5 teams, so that the first team, you are looking at those things in question 1. Second, you are looking at those things in question 2. Third, you are looking at those things in question 3. 4, you are looking at those things in question 5. Then question 4, then 5, you are looking at the other aspects of the syllabus. So that is my take on how you can structure yourself to be able to pass the public sector accounting and finance examination. Let me know if that is useful for you. Blameless said, I'm taking FRMA PS. Hey, Iradi Yesu Christo. You know, when I see people writing plenty papers like this, my heart, I don't know. Do you have the time for all these? You have the time to be able to study and pass all of these 4 papers? Blameless. I don't know, but like I said earlier in my introduction, in my introductory presentation, you gotta be realistic. Okay, gotta be realistic. If you have the time available, no P. I don't have problem with that. And I've spoken about them already. Spoken about public sector. I've spoken about tax. Management accounting is an interesting paper. It's one of the papers with the lowest pass mark in the ICA. Apart from management accounting, the second lowest pass mark is strategic case study. But management accounting is a very, very interesting area. The only way you pass management accounting is number one, by understanding the fundamental principles in management accounting, and that is absorption costing, marginal costing, and activity based costing. Okay? You have to understand these things very well. Because once, then, in addition to these three things, you need to understand accounting for overheads and cost classification. Accounting for overheads and cost classification. You have to understand these very well. Because once you understand cost classification, accounting for overheads, marginal costing, absorption costing, activity-based costing, the other topics will be very easy. But also note that your management accounting exam is going to be having significant portion of written aspects. So in as much as you're going to be excited about doing the calculations on limiting factor analysis, relevant cost analysis, budgeting, variance analysis, performance measurement, investment appraisal, under each of these topics, there are significant theories there that you have to make sure you understand if you want to pass the examination. Does that make sense? So spend time to also understand all of the theories, all of the written aspects of the topics, because there will be, like, it depends, but it's going to be like maybe 65% calculation, but 35% written or theory questions. If the examiner is not excited with you, he will do 30% of pure writing questions or written questions, and then 70% of calculation questions. All I'm telling you is that in the management accounting exam, you're going to have a significant written aspects coming in. So in as much as you're going to be excited trying to get the calculations right, make sure you also spend time to also read the theories very well, because that is going to be featuring in the exam hall at the end of the day. So blameless, that's my thoughts generally for you. But like I said, I'm concerned about, the four papers that you want to write. And is it four? Five, Crapple. Five. So it means you were given exemption in audit and assurance and you want to take all the five. If you have the time available, why not go for it? We clap for you. But like I say always, we gotta be realistic about our thing. In as much as this thing is like a competition, sometimes I want you to be realistic as much as possible in that particular case. So if you are realistic, it's better at the end of the day, because somebody will say, "Oh, I want to chatter before I marry. I want to chatter before I give birth to my second born. I want to chatter before my husband come from this." Yeah, it's all good. Okay, it's all good. It's all a nice goal. But if you are setting such goals, that means you have to be ready to sacrifice. You have to be ready to go the extra mile. The question is, do you have the time? Do you have the resources? Do you have the mental capacity? Because I don't know if you're a male or a female, though, but whatever it is, these five papers will require a certain level of mental capacity. Like I said, the ICA exam is not like first degree. The ICA exam is not like your MBA or MSc. The ICA exam is a different ball game. So the mental capacity required is difficult. And if you're writing these papers, it's like you'll be writing paper on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday. And there is a day, I think on Thursday, you'll be writing two papers. That mental capacity alone, that mental stress alone, you have to be able to train yourself for it. If not, if you have a problem on the first day or on the second day, it can have an implication negatively on the subsequent papers. So mentally, you need to really train yourself. I'm just saying. Just saying. So it's a lot of work. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if you're going to do it, make sure that mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, you're capable, right? That's what I would just add there for you, blameless. What else do I have? Business pot. Hey, it's only a business pot. What kind of pot is this one? Strategies to pass MA, FR, and PSA. Oh, business pot. I think I've already answered this, right? So I don't have a problem with you in that particular case. Please ensure I'm writing corporate reporting, advanced audit, and advanced taxation. I need your assistance on these three. Thank you. I think we've already spoken about these things already when I was answering Mame's question, and also I think Elizabeth's question as well. So we don't have a problem again. Let me know if there is anything else in that case. Angela Chibanda said, hello, I'm encouraged. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure, Angela. Pravin Gutam said, hi, sir. I am a chartered accountant of India and I used to see your videos for doing FR. Lot of love from India. Congratulations and thank you for showing us love. I hope that you're doing well. Elegance said, I'm writing financial reporting, principles of taxation. If been effectively studying, what's it? I'm being effectively studying, but I'm having a little fear for FR, even though I've been studying and also my first time writing the exam. Fear is normal. Okay, elegance etiquette. Fear is normal. We are all afraid. Okay, you think I'm not afraid? You think I'm not afraid? You think I don't feel fearful? Sometimes I do. But we still overcome it to become successful. Because you cannot let fear break you down generally. Okay? So just that little fear of FR, find out why are you fearing the FR a little bit. Maybe the standards are pulling you back a little bit. Maybe there are a lot of the standards that you are not understanding very well. Find out what's causing that fear and face it head off. Okay, so whatever area that is making you to be scared of the FR, deal with it. And like I said earlier, in the FR, accounting standards is going to be basic. So many a times, the reason or the place you're going to have challenge will be the accounting standards, because we're going to have a dedicated 40 marks on the accounting standards. 40. If the examiner is excited, he could make it 45 in the exam hall. 45. Because you have a dedicated 20-mark question on the standards, then you have another 20-mark question on financial statement preparation. That could be either the cash flow statement or the statement of profit or loss and the statement of financial position. So that is 40. Then if the examiner is excited, you have an additional 5-mark question theory in respect of the standards. Okay, so that is 45. Then you come to ratios, evaluation of financial statements. Whether you like it or not, it's waiting for you in the exam hall. Okay, then some other theory areas like the conceptual framework for general purpose financial statement, then also the issue in relation to ethics. The examiner may throw something there for you. Then you go to question 1, consolidated financial statement. So my take for you is, yes, you're going to be scared a little bit. It's your first time. And so it's okay for you to be scared, for you to be fearful a little bit, but don't let that fear pull you up. Find out what is making you fearful. Then put in place strategies to deal with it. But don't let that stop you, because fear has a way of affecting your mental capacity to be able to understand things. And you realize that generally in life, when you are afraid and you are filled with fear, you cannot do other things productively. So fear, in as much as I said it's a good thing, because it is going to motivate you to then work extra hard so that you overcome that fear. If you're not careful, it could also become something that cripples you. So handle it very well. Like I said, my take is make sure that you deal with the area that you think you have the challenge with head on as fast as possible so that you can go in there and pass the examination. Okay? So elegance etiquette. Let me know if that is helpful for you. Just believe. Wow, I'm just having some nice names. Blameless, elegance, etiquette. Just believe. What the heck? Okay, oh, let's go. Hi, good evening. I'm Andrews. I am starting with the first two. That's Intro to Management Accounting and Financial Accounting. Okay. Introduction to Management Accounting is, you know, the introduction to management accounting. A couple of things you must understand. Whether I like it or not, there is something in the exam hall for you on absorption costing, marginal costing, and then possibly activity-based costing. Whether I like it or not, there is something for you there. Okay, so make sure you are strong in these areas. Number two, budgeting. There's something on budgeting there waiting for you. Be strong in that. Number three, variance analysis. Fundamentally, it's going to be there for you. So make sure you understand that very well in that particular case. Then those other key issues that we have available, the costing methods, job costing, batch costing, process costing, service costing. One of the job cost methods are going to be there in the exam hall. So you want to make sure you spend enough time to do all that. But like I said earlier, in the real management accounting in level 2, there's going to be some written or theory aspects in the exam hall. What you want to do is to be able to really put yourself in the position so that you can answer those theory areas. So under each of the topics that I've mentioned, there are written aspects, there are written areas that you have to know about. So make sure you understand them. Financial accounting is, a very interesting area. Bank reconciliation statement is going to be very important there. So you make sure you understand that. Then financial statement preparation for the sole proprietor, for a partnership business, for a company. Okay, it's going to be crucial there because you're going to be having maybe 2 financial statements to be prepared. For companies, it's going to be ordinary. It's going to be there for 20 marks. Then between partnership and sole proprietorship, probably one of them will be there. Then incomplete records, okay? That is correction of errors. And then incomplete records. It's fundamental when it comes to dealing with financial accounting. So you want to make sure that you understand that very well. Then some theory issues like the conceptual framework for general purpose financial statements, the qualitative characteristics of financial statements. All of these things are areas that you want to make sure that you understand very well. So just believe that is the idea there. Please, can we have some videos on business valuation in CR? Okay, we're gonna see if I don't think we have a video on business valuation on YouTube. So we gonna see if it's possible. Our team will check for that, and if it is possible for us to either do a video on that in one of the live streams or premiere a video of that. Please, can you also some videos on advanced audit and assurance? Okay, we're gonna see how that will go. Mame said, "Thank you very much. It's a pleasure." I said that you are the best, Nhyira. Thank you, Mame. Boatima. Oyster said, "Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. All right, you're welcome." Blameless said, I'm a full-time student and a couple of knowledge in FRN PSA." Okay. So full-time students, no P, you are doing 5 papers. I mean, then that means you have time available for you. So you chill small, then you come and study. Okay, because chilling is important. Okay, all work and no play make it. How do we even say that? I don't even know. So you chill small. What I'm saying is that, you chill small, then you come and study. You chill small, then you're going to study. But you got to study more than you chill, though. But that's great to hear. Emmanuel Shen said, "I'm yet to start my ICA journey, so I'm preparing myself well with your video. Thank you." Okay, that's great to hear. Can't wait to have you. Then Elegance Etiquette said, "I'm okay." All right. Okay, that's great to hear. Okay. So that is it about that basically, and that is what you need to understand. I'm going to be wrapping up around here because my time is almost up for our management accounting class today. I'm going to be coming your way on Friday as we continue to do our discussion. But remember that the things I mentioned earlier, that 70% of students are going to fail the November 2023 examination. So if you want to be part of the 30% that will pass the exam, be studious, work hard, discipline yourself, make time, solve questions under time, and have a positive mindset about the examination. That is the only way you're going to pass the examination. Okay, and be realistic. Don't blindly have some faith that doesn't exist. If you have not worked hard, if you have not prepared well enough, please don't sit for the exam. Go to the next diet. It's okay. Then find out, for those of you writing a lot of papers, be realistic whether really you have prepared to be able to pass this examination. Because if you are not careful, you're going to spread your wings and not be able to be prepared for one paper, and that emotional trauma is going to be affecting you in your effectiveness on other papers. So it's very important you are able to do that in that particular case. So that's it about that. Thank you very much for joining us on the stream. Thank you for the thumbs up on the video. Thank you for those of you who have been sharing the videos as well. In case you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can check the channel playlist because we have a lot of content on the accounting standards. So check the channel playlist, check the podcast session on the channel. We have a lot of videos there on the accounting standards, on consolidated financial statements, on public sector, on various other things. Then we're going to be releasing some videos as well on strategic case study. I think in the course of this week or over this weekend. So stay connected if you're writing strategic case study and the other papers, and we're going to see how we can assist you so you can prepare well for the examination and pass the examination. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you same time on Friday at 14. Did I say 14? 16:30 GMT or 4:30 p.m. Ghana. Take care and bye-bye.